Hey everyone, it's Thursday, so that means it's time for another Tune-Up Thursday, and these are videos that we put together to help you to take care of your marriage. And I want to remind you about Reengage. Reengage is our marriage ministry, one of our marriage ministries here at FBCALLEN, and it's going to kick off February 14th, Valentine's Day. It's a great way to invest in your marriage, but it's not just about marriage ministry. It's about growing in your relationship with the Lord. It's discipleship. So go to reengage.fbcallen.org. You can register there. We have childcare available. You can get all the information that you need to know, okay? reengage.fbcallen.org. Now, today I want to talk about friendship, and not the friendship that you have with your spouse, but the friendships that you have with other people. Now, I'm all for friends. I have friends. My wife has friends. We have a couple friends that we do things together with, and then we have our friends that we just kind of hang out on our own. I have some golfing buddies. But anyway, when it comes to friendships, you have to be really careful who you let in your inner circle, because the people that are closest to you, you know this back from your teenage years, the people who are closest to you are going to be the ones that influence you the most. And so I want to talk about 4 different types of friends that you have to be really careful about, or how close they are to you when it comes to marriage. I'm not saying that all your friends have to agree perfectly with you, or you should get rid of someone because they think differently about marriage than you do, but you just have to be real careful. And the first one is this: the friend that is constantly talking negative about their spouse. It's just, they never have anything good to say. They never have anything positive to say. They're just constantly complaining. Now, whether you realize it or not, that can rub off on you, and you can start to kind of catch a little bit of that negativity, and that might cause you to see some negativity in your own marriage. So just be real careful when you're with that friend, and you're not letting that negativity rub off on you. Another one, and this may seem kind of obvious, but the friend who's constantly talking negative about your spouse. And we have to defend our spouses, right? We have to stand up for our spouses, defend our relationship, and we don't want to be hanging out with someone who's constantly, just barraging our spouse with negativity and constantly talking bad about our marriages. So you just have to be real careful with that. I know that seems kind of obvious, but you may have to check your friendships and say, do I have someone in my inner circle that's really negative about my spouse? And why are they negative? And have I confronted them about that? Do I need to talk to them about that? The next one is the friend who's always trying to put you against your family. In other words, not encouraging you to be with your family, but constantly encouraging you, come on, get away with me. Let's go do stuff. Don't worry about that. Or you're always with your family, blah, 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 blah. A good friend is going to be one that encourages you to be with your spouse, encourages you to be with your family, to spend time, because they know that's the most important. Those are the most important relationships in your marriage. So be leery of the friend who's constantly trying to compete with your time with your family, the time with your spouse. And finally, I would say be careful around the friend who is constantly just negative about marriage in general. Maybe they had a bad experience with marriage, or maybe they're in a bad marriage themselves, but they just don't like marriage, and they talk about how great their life is because they're not married, and it's so much better than yours because you're married. All that to say is just you have to be very careful, because again, the people that are closest to you, that you allow to be the closest to you, are going to have the most influence in your life, and they're the voices that you're going to hear the most, and the voices that you're going to hear the loudest. So what I think you need to remember is you need to make sure that your closest friends love marriage the way that you love marriage, and more importantly, love your marriage the way that you love your marriage. And here's another thing. Maybe you need to check yourself and say, am I any of these friends to some of my married friends? And make sure that you're not talking badly about your spouse. Make sure you're not talking badly about their spouse. Make sure that you're not always trying to compete with their family. And make sure that you speak positively about marriage. Even though your marriage may not be perfect, there is no perfect marriage. But I think part of what we need to do as husbands and wives is we need to assume the best in our marriages. And if we're looking for negativity, guess what we're going to find? We're going to find negativity, and we're going to find things that aren't perfect. And it's a matter of perspective. So be careful who you let in your inner circle, because your inner circle is going to have a lot of influence on you. All right? Do me a favor, like this video, share this video, and please comment. Leave some comments and some ideas, some thoughts that you have. Let's make this a conversation. And as always, please, please, please take care of your marriage.